How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. We're going to be looking at the 2009-10 NBA basketball set from Topps. And it's really one of my favorite sets of all time. So we're going to be just going over what it contained, and we're going to be looking through some of my cards that I own as well. Now, this is the last great basketball set from Topps, in my opinion. It was kind of interesting because it was the year that Topps lost the license to Panini. So this was one of their last releases for the NBA, and we've seen the recent Chrome, and I'm not going to go into that because I could spend literally half an hour talking about how terrible it was. I'm hoping once they actually have the license for real, which should happen late next year, that we get something back to what it was. But regardless, we're just going to take a look at this. I am over on the TCDB, our trading card database site here, to take a look at this. It's a really great kind of recap of what you can pull out of these. It goes over all the different parallels and serial number cards and all that. We'll start on this page and we'll scroll down a bit. What's interesting about this set is that not only it was a regular Topps base set, but we also got Chrome as well. So if you look up here, you can see it's featuring Topps Chrome, and it's not like a separate product release. They actually released it in the regular packs, if you weren't aware of that. We didn't have a ton of parallels too, which is nice. So for the base card set, you had the base cards, you had the gold bordered parallel cards, which were out of 2009. So 2009 of those each serial numbered, and then the black bordered parallel cards, which were out of 50. Now, they did have a bunch of other like relic cards and things like that. I don't have any of these, but quickly to go over it, you had some like patch autos, you had Letterman cards. As we moved down here, you had like tags and logo mans. It was a ton of stuff. They were dumping a lot of this into this product because they were losing the license. So a lot of their releases from that year just had relics and patches and things like that, and almost went a little bit overboard just because they were trying to get rid of that stuff. But if we do scroll back up here, we're going to see the Chrome cards. And as you can see here, the Chrome cards were all numbered. And so the base Chrome was numbered at a 999. Refractors were out of 500, and the gold refractor out of 50. So that's really the only parallels that you're chasing like on the base set. So it's kind of nice. It's not 10 or 20 or 30, 40 different parallels like we see nowadays. Even some of these products prior to this year were getting kind of over parallelized and over serialized, in my opinion, but nothing compared to what we see nowadays. If we go back to the main page here, we can see, yeah, this was a rather large set. It did have 330 cards total. I love the photography of this set. You can see the LeBron James here in the top left. We'll go over it. We'll take a look at mine. I just wanted to review this real quick. Some of the packaging for this, these were hobby boxes, I believe. This may have been one of the jumbo hobby boxes, one of these. And then you had like blaster boxes. This is like maybe a retail box here. And this is what the packs look like. Now, I don't go into a lot of value of cards, you know, on this channel. It's more about just collecting sets and my team sets and whatnot. But I did find it interesting that if you wanted to purchase one of these boxes nowadays, you're going to be paying up for them. So these are some past sales from the past couple years where we see hobby boxes are going for tens of thousands of dollars. You can even see here that packs out of this release are quite expensive as well. You're looking at a couple $100 just for a pack of these. And what drives all this? It's really Steph Curry. I mean, this is his rookie season, so a lot of people want his rookie cards, especially from Topps, such a well-known brand. So we can look over here. I mean, even this card numbered out of 2009 copies is selling for over $4,000. Just his like base card, if you look at some of these here, go into the couple $100 range. Even raw copies, I think I saw one down here somewhere, can be a couple $100 as well. That's what's driving the prices on this product. But regardless, it is a great set if you just wanted to go for it without the Curry. I know they sell in a couple $100 range. So as I mentioned, this is one of my favorite sets of all time. And so I did end up putting a full set of it together. We're going to take a look at that. We're going to pull it down off the shelf here, and we're going to look through it. We're going to look at some of the parallels that I have. We're going to look at some Topps Chrome and some parallels as well. So we're going to jump right into the binder here. This is the full set of base cards. As I mentioned, it's a 330 card set, so it is pretty large. Now, my reasoning for putting this set together back in the day was just really the great photography. And I'll pull out a couple cards here and we'll take a look at them. So for example, we'll take a look at this Kevin Garnett. Now, minimalistic design, which actually I really appreciate on sets in general. I really enjoy photography, so when the design is more minimal, but you had great photography, that's something that I love. This is like being one of the backboard photos. These were kind of common in the 2000s. I think he even had these like in the late 90s as well, where they're doing those backboard photos. The backs of the cards look great too. They list stats for him for all of his different seasons. You know, there's no separate designer picture on the back, but it is quite a significant amount of stats. For those of you who've seen the recent Topps Chrome, yeah, a lot to be desired on those cards. We'll just take a look through some more cards here as well. I'm just going to flip through some of the pages. We might skip around a bit. Now, of course, we had the LeBron James card. Here's another one of those backboard photos that I was talking about. Great action shot there. Look on the back of the card, just gives you his stats and, you know, a little blurb there. So nothing too crazy, but it is quite nice to see that. Now, as we go through these, I'm probably not going to focus on, I'm looking at everything, so we'll kind of skip around a bit. But yeah, like I mentioned, why can't we come back to something like this, you know, newer releases where you just had a camera like on the back of the backboard? You know, it's not going to be that tough to do. I'm kind of hoping when the license come over fully to Fanatics, they can get back to something like this. I would imagine this is pretty cheap to put together. You could hire somebody to do this, take these shots. So in addition to the backboard photography, which is great in and of itself, you did have just great photography in general. So we'll take a look at this one here. Wilson Chandler did spend some time on the Nuggets. Just a great action shot. It's got defenders around him. It's just gets you into the game. You know, I feel like nowadays a lot of the cards that we're getting are simply just photoshopped photos of guys dribbling or holding a ball. I mean, it just doesn't seem like it would be that difficult to get back to some great photography like this. You have photographers at every single game. If they're not going to come out with their own stuff, you know, and I'm talking here into the future when like Fanatics takes over the license fully and they can make fully licensed cards. It just, you know, if they're not going to grab their own photography, you would think that they'd just hire some of these great photographers to go out there and capture stuff like this. All right, so we'll quickly go through the rest of this. But yeah, some great names in here. Here's Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili. But we're going to go ahead and skip to probably what everybody's looking to see in this set, which is the rookies, or what most people chase, you know, and why box prices are so high, is the rookies here. So, of course, this was Blake Griffin's rookie year. He was probably one of the more popular rookies of the time. So to pull one of his cards, you would have been pretty excited, probably more excited than pulling a Curry, to be perfectly honest. But you had other great players that season as well. James Harden, as his rookie year. DeMar DeRozan. And of course, the Curry. And no, I'm not going to grade it. It would feel out of place having this card outside of the set, outside of the binder. But other notable rookies that year. Brandon Jennings had a decent career. Drew Holiday recently won NBA championship with the Celtics. Great player. But yeah, overall, pretty decent rookie class that year. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the parallels now. This is voiceover me realizing that I forgot to mention this as I'm sitting here editing the video, but I thought it was important to point out, is the photo choices that they use for the rookies this year. We're going to freeze frame real quick on the Curry. You can see this is just a close-up photo of him. Likewise on the Blake Griffin, he's just in a plain white jersey, likely a Photoshop jersey, just so they're not displaying like team logos or anything. I am not quite sure if this was part of Topps losing the license where Panini then obtained the rights to show team logos for rookies since they were going to be rookies in the next season that they had the license for, or if it was just Topps looking to not get into legal trouble potentially. If anyone does know the answer to that, please comment below. But just something I thought I'd mention before we move on. So for those of you who aren't aware, I am a big Nuggets collector, so most of these parallels I have in my Nuggets binder, so we'll just take a look at some of them here. But as mentioned, these were out of 2009. These are the gold parallels out of base Topps. And we'll take a look at like the Carmelo as well. Pretty cool action shot on that one. And they did have like the gold border. It's almost like more yellowish. But yes, again, out of that 2009 print run. And then I don't have a full set of the black borders, but these were out of 50. So it can be pretty hard to track down. I've actually spent a significant amount of time trying to track these down for the Nuggets. And as you can see here in the background, I only was able to come up with 3 of them over the years. So still looking for those, but they are nice parallels. And now let's go ahead and take a look at Chrome. So interestingly enough for Chrome, I tried to find a base card. They are at a $9.99 and I just couldn't find one. So we're going to take a look at some of the refractors. And one of my kind of biggest regrets about this set is not putting together the Topps Chrome base or refractor set. It is 110 cards total. So I didn't mention this in the beginning, but they didn't include every single card out of it. But, you know, again, great photography. These Chrome cards this year, they're basic, but they just work really well in my opinion. So the nice Chrome technology there. These are numbered out of 500 as we went over before. If you did have one of the base cards, it is numbered as well. So it's kind of cool to have like just the base set numbered. But I don't have a ton of these. I probably at one point had 30 to 40, and I was helping some people out with their sets. And as I sold them cards, I lost interest in putting the full set together myself. Probably shouldn't have done it, but oh well. And we're going to look at some of my Topps Chrome rookie cards. These are all refractors right here. For those of you who are not aware, I do go after Topps Chrome rookie cards from all years, and this binder is just the last half of it with the 09-10 releases here. Was able to grab this Blake Griffin, and if you pulled this card out of a pack, you would be quite excited, I think, back in the day. He was the one they were chasing more so than Curry back then. As I was looking for a base card, I realized that I did have a Blake Griffin, I think at one point, that was graded a PSA 10, and I believe I moved it in 2021 because prices for base rookies were crazy back then. Another guy I didn't mention who had a great career, Ricky Rubio. So here's his Topps Chrome refractor rookie. Again, these being numbered out of 500. Other notables, I have the Brandon Jennings there. I have a couple graded cards here as well. So there's DeMar DeRozan, graded refractor rookie card, and a James Harden. And I was able to pick up 2 golds over the years, and they're pretty good players. I would say both of them. Blake Griffin, these cards being numbered out of 50, recently retired, and NBA champion Drew Holiday. Now, these are a bit more yellow, just like the Topps golds out of that base Topps set. To me, they are a little bit more yellow in the border, but still great cards nonetheless. And sadly, I do not have a Curry refractor or gold refractor. Probably would have sold it a long time ago as those just jumped crazily in price. I did have a chance to get one back in the day for around $200, win one on eBay. It just wasn't in the cards. And one last page to review is from my Nuggets binder, where I do have all of my refractors. So this is the last half of it. We've got a Carmelo Anthony. One I always thought was kind of interesting as well is this Chauncey Billups as he kind of lays on the court, resting his head on a towel. And then we had the J.R. Smith. So I do have the golds as well. Disappointingly, they only had 3 Nuggets players this year included in Chrome. I would have liked to have a little bit more so that it did fill up a full binder page, but hey, at least we got 3 players out of the set. And I did forget to mention it earlier in this video, but you did have superfractors, so they're listed on that page that we reviewed over at TCDB, but just figured I'd mention it. I have looked for years for refractors of Nuggets players. There's only 3 of them. I believe I at one point did see the Camaro pop up. That was a very long time ago, out of my price range, but maybe someday. All right, and that's going to wrap up my review of 2009-10 Topps NBA basketball. I do really hope you enjoyed it. As always, I encourage you to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It does help me out a lot. And I will catch you on the next one.